So good evening, guys. Welcome to this second week. Just let me know if I'm audible or not. Okay. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. We'll wait for another 5 or 6 minutes. Okay. So can someone write down like what all topics were covered yesterday? Like I mean, day before yesterday on Monday. I think Monish took the session. Shall we start then or wait for others to join? I mean, it's already 6. Okay. Okay, so let us start then. So are you able to see the slides? Okay. Okay, so in today's session, we'll be covering these all topics. We will learn how to count the number of nodes in a given linked list. We will see how to delete nodes from a given linked list, and then how to reverse a linked list. We will learn the iterative part, and then there will be few exercises for you. And then I'll teach you, I'll be covering a few tricks like the use of fast and slow pointer, and then solve some problems from LeetCode. And then if possible, if time permits, I'll cover the dummy pointer part. Otherwise, uh, I'll just cover the concept of fast and slow pointer. And yeah, so I've written a very crucial thing here, that one thing that you should always keep in mind, that every linked list is uniquely identified by its head node, and nothing else is actually required to identify the given linked list. So if you have the reference of the head node, you can always uniquely identify or access the elements of that linked list. So this is very important. Okay, so let us see how to count the number of nodes in a given linked list. So this is basically a pseudocode. So what it is saying, that the algorithm to count the number of nodes in a singly linked list is that, let us say we already have the information of the head node of the linked list, and we take a loop. We initialize a count variable to 0. So the count left arrow means we take a variable named count and initialize it to 0. And if my head is not equal to null, then I store the address of head in a temporary node. That is, I initialize temp to head, and as long as temp is not equal to null, I increase the value of count. I set count as count plus 1, and then move my temp pointer one step ahead. Like I uh, change the value of temp to temp equals temp dot next, and then this while loop continues as long as temp is not equal to null. And when temp hits the null node, then I simply print the total nodes in list is equal to the value of my count. So let me move to the code editor. Otherwise, I can just show just a small. Okay, so this whiteboard is visible to you guys. Is this visible to you, the whiteboard? Okay, so what I'm basically saying is, uh, let us say I'm having a linked list. Okay, let us say I'm having a linked list with some nodes. Let us say these are the nodes. Okay, and these are all connected. These are all connected. Okay. And say this is my null node. And let us say the values that are stored are here. Here in the first node, the value 1 is stored. Here there's a value 5, and then 6, and then here let us say 2. Okay. So, and this is, let us say, my head node. Okay. Now what I do is I take another temporary variable, let us say temp, and make it point to the head node, right? First. And then what I do is I maintain a count variable, which is initially, let us say, which is initially 1. Count variable is 1. Okay. Now what I do is, as long as my temp is not equal to null, as long as my temp is, see, I don't change the value of head. Head remains as it is, but I keep on changing the value of temp. So what I do is, as long as my temp is not equal to null, I move my temp one step ahead. So I say temp is equals to temp dot next, and now temp points here. And then what I do is I update the value of count to 2. Now again, temp is not equal to null. So I move temp one step ahead. And now update the value of count to 3. Now again, temp is not equal to null. So I move my temp pointer to one step ahead. So now it points here. And now I update the value of count to 4. Now my temp is not equal to null. So I move temp to here. But now since temp is equal to null, so I simply break from the loop and return this value of count, which is 4. So as you can see, there are 4 nodes in the linked list. So let us try to write a code for it. I hope insertion part is already covered. So I won't be covering insertion part then. So yeah, so here I've defined the node. So my node will be basically storing a value and the address of the next pointer. And then I've defined a function to insert at the end. I hope this part is already covered. And then this is a function to simply print my list, like how to traverse the list and print it. So let us write a function. So now you can, so let us see, uh, let us see what is there in my linked list. Let us print it. Yeah. So as you can see, currently in my linked list, these are the nodes that are present in my linked list. There is 0, there is 1, there is 2, there is 3, there is 4, there is 5, 6, and up to 9. So these are the nodes that are already present in my linked list. So as you can see, I've taken a loop and inserted these all values in my linked list. So let us write a function to count the number of nodes in my linked list. So let us say void count nodes. And it takes,
Hello.
yeah.
Sir, where you define the structure, uh, what is the node int node val? Is it a constructor or what?
Yes, that is a constructor. You can also define it outside the struct definition, but I have defined it inside. So whenever like you can see here, whenever I'm declaring a head pointer, I am simply defining the value I'm just passing the value which I want in that node. So you can define it in this way. Like you can,
I didn't know that actually that you can some can define a constructor in a structure. That's why I asked.
okay, yeah, like you can do it in this way. Like you can write the name of the structure node and then pass the value which you want. Like let us say I want to assign the value same as node val. So I've passed node val in the function and then assigned value val equals node val, and then the next pointer I've assigned to null.
Okay, okay.
So let us count the number of nodes. So what I said is I'll declare a variable count. Let us initialize it to 0. You can initialize it to 1 also, but then you have to then subtract -1 while printing. So I'm initializing it to 0. And then let us declare a temporary pointer, which should point to head, because I shouldn't lose my reference of the head pointer. So that's why I'm declaring another pointer temp, which is pointing to head. And now as long as the temp pointer is not equal to null, what I do is I simply increase my count. I say count is equal to count plus 1, and then I update my temp pointer. Okay, and let us print this. So let us say the number of nodes is equal to my value of count. So let us call this function count nodes by passing the head pointer. Yeah, so you can say it is correctly printing that the number of nodes in my linked list are 10, which is indeed correct, because I'm having values from 0 to 9, and the count of numbers from 0 to 9 is 10. So this is how you actually count the number of nodes in a linked list. Okay. So now let us see how to delete from a linked list. So as you can see, deletion, there are like similar to insertion, there are also 3 ways in which you can delete nodes from a linked list. You can either delete it from the beginning, or you can delete any nth node from the beginning, or you can delete the last node of a given linked list. So let us see how to delete from the beginning of a linked list. So beginning, like deletion from the beginning is pretty easy. So what we do is we simply copy the address of the first node, that is head, and we store that in some temporary variable, let us say to delete, and we simply move the head pointer. So we update head as head arrow next, and then we simply disconnect the connection of the first node, which we stored in a temporary variable, let us say to delete, and then we free the memory. So what we are basically doing is we are storing the head node in a temporary node, let us say to delete, and then we are updating the head node to head arrow next, and then we are simply deleting the to delete node, like we are freeing the memory of the to delete node. So now, as I've already said that the linked list is uniquely identified by the head node. So since my head node is pointing to 20, so the linked list will start from the node which is having value 20, and the node which is having value 10 has now no significance because it has already been deleted from the memory. So I'll cover the rest 2 parts, and then I'll move to the editor to just code the 3. Now let us see how we can delete any nth node. Let us say I want to delete the 4th node or the 5th node from the beginning of a linked list. So for this, what we do is we actually keep 2 variables. Okay, one is known as a previous node, and another is known as the current node. So let us say if I want to delete the nth node, so I travel to the nth node of the linked list and I keep reference of the n minus 1th node in some temporary variable, say previous node. So every time I'm having two variables, current node and the previous node. So current node is the node which I'm currently standing in, and the previous node is the node which is just before it. So let us say if I'm currently at the ith node, then my current node will be pointing to the ith node, but the previous node will be pointing to the I minus 1th node. And every time I'll keep on updating that values until I travel to the nth node. So then after this, what I do is I update the next pointer of the previous node to the to delete to the next pointer of the to delete node, because I want to delete the nth node. So I connect the next pointer of the previous node to the next pointer of the to delete node. So you can see it in the second picture, like what I'm exactly doing is I'm updating the prev node arrow next equal to the to delete arrow next. Okay. So in this way, I'm connecting the previous node to the node which is just one step ahead of the nth node. And then after doing this, what I do is I simply I simply free the memory of the nth node. Or you can say the to delete node, which is the nth node actually. So every time we maintain two variables, one you can say is a prev node and another is a to delete node. So prev node is the node which is just before the node to delete. And after reaching to the nth node, I update the next pointer of the prev node to point to the node which is just ahead of the to delete node. So I think it's very clear from the picture what is exactly happening. Like I travel to the nth node and then update the prev node, update the next part of the prev node to point to the node which is just ahead of to delete node. And then I finally free the memory occupied by the nth node. And in this way, I've deleted the nth node from the linked list. And now let us see how to delete the last node or the tail node. So you can see that in this deletion also, we will be storing the address of the second last node. Okay, like the node just like the node which is just before the last node, which is the second last node. So it is saying traverse to the last node of the linked list, keeping track of the second last node in some variable, let us say second last node, you can say. And then what I do is I simply uh, assign the next pointer of second last node to null. And then I simply free the memory occupied by the last node. So it is very similar to that of deletion of any nth node from the linked list, where we're storing the previous node in a prev node variable, but here we're storing the previous node in a second last node variable. So it is very similar to that if you try to relate them. So yeah, so I'll repeat it again. So what we do is we traverse to the last node of the linked list, keeping track of the second last node. And so we keep track of the second last node in some variable. Let us say second last node, is the name of the variable. And then what I do is I uh, I update the next value of the second last node to null. Okay, so I do second last node arrow next is equal to null, and then I simply free the memory occupied by the last node. So these are the three methods which we can
Hello,
use.
sir. May I ask something? Hello, sir.
Yeah, ask.
So why we are using second node in the deletion part? Actually, if we can check the condition that if the node dot next equals to null, then we can simply delete that. There is no, I think there is no need to store some value to the second node, as second last node. We can actually check for value that if the node dot next equals to null, then we can simply free the memory.
Yeah, you can actually do that, but what about the next pointer of the second last node? It is, you see that the next pointer of the second last node was previously pointing to the last node. Okay, now you didn't update the next pointer of the second last node. Okay, so it is still pointing to some memory location, right? So as you can see, the next pointer of the second last node is pointing to this value 40. Okay, but what you did is that you simply deleted the node which is having value 40. Like, are you
Yes, sir, I
getting what
got
I'm
it.
trying
I
to
got
say?
it.
So
Yeah, I got
basically,
it. I got it.
first you have to initialize the next node to null, so that it is not pointing to some random memory. Because if you without
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so first you have to point it to null, and then after that you can delete it. So that's how we keep second last node.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So these are the three methods. As I said, you can delete either from the beginning, or you can delete any nth node from the beginning, or you can delete the last node. So let us try to code it then. So what I'll do is I'll write three functions. I will write a function named delete from the beginning, and then delete from end, let us say, and then delete nth node, delete nth node from the beginning. So these are the three functions that we'll try to write. So I'm keeping the return type of the function to node star. So in which I'll be returning the head pointer basically of the after deleting nodes from the linked list. So let us see how to delete from the beginning. So as I said, uh, deletion from the beginning is simply same as updating head to head dot next, and then simply freeing the head memory. So what I do is I store this head in a temp pointer, and then what I do is I free this temp, and then I simply return head dot next. But one thing I have to check here, like if let us say head is already null, let us say if my linked list is empty, then I should simply return null, because there is nothing to delete. It is already empty. Otherwise, what I do is I store the value of head in a temp pointer. I free this temp pointer, and I simply return head dot next. So let us see if this works. So what I'll do is I'll basically update the head pointer to say, let us delete from the beginning, and I pass this head, and then let us print my list. So as you can see, I updated my head pointer by deleting the node from the beginning, and then I'm printing my list. Yeah. So as you can see, initially my linked list looked something like this. Like it had nodes from like nodes which had values from 0 to 9, and then the number of nodes were 9. But now you can see the values are from 1 to 9 because I have already deleted the first node. You can also count the number of nodes. Let us try to count the number of nodes. Let us count it once just to verify that if there are 9 nodes or not. Yeah, so as you can see, it is saying after deleting, the number of nodes are 9. So now let us see how to delete from the end. So I'll initialize 2 pointers. One is to delete, which is now pointing to head. And then another is the second last node, as I said. Which is let us say pointing to head, or let us say the to delete node is pointing to head dot next. It is pointing to one node ahead of the second last node. Okay, and now as long as my to delete node is not equal to null, what I should do is I should update to delete equal to delete dot next, and then also second last node is equal to second last dot next. So I should keep on moving the pointers. I should keep on moving the pointers till they hit the null node. And then what I should do is I should simply try to free the to delete node and then mark the second last node next as null and then simply return the head pointer. So what I'm basically doing is I'm initially pointing to the node to the node which is just one step ahead of the head node. Okay, or you can say, let us say the second node, and my second last node is pointing to the first node, which is the head node. And then I'm traversing the linked list as long as the to delete node is not equal to null. Okay, so its next should not be equal to null. Otherwise, it will hit the null node. I mean, otherwise, to delete node will be null. So there is no point in it. So let us check it once. I mean, let us say that the head is equal to delete from the end. And then let us print the head. Let us see if it works or not. Yeah, so it is working fine. As you can see, it deleted the node 9 from the end, and now my number of nodes reduced to 8. Because first I deleted from the beginning, since I called this function delete from the beginning, so it deleted 0, and then it deleted 9. So so this condition, so this statement was important because I should traverse to the last node. I mean, I should stop at the last node. Okay, I shouldn't reach the null node. So that's why when I hit the last node, I break out of the loop and I delete the last node. So now, like after this loop, uh, gets completed, my to delete pointer is pointing to the last node. Okay, but my second last and this second last node is pointing to the second last node, the node just before to delete. So what I do is I simply free the memory occupied by the to delete node, and then I uh, update the next pointer of the second last node to null, and then I simply return my head. I hope this thing is clear to you, like why I did this, because I want to stop after reaching the last node. I don't want to reach the node which is null. So that's why I was traversing as long as my to delete dot or arrow next was not equal to null. And then I was just updating to delete dot next, and then second last node to second last dot next. So now let us see how to delete any nth node from the beginning. So I'll pass another parameter, let us say int n. Let us say if I want to delete the third node or the fourth node or the fifth node, whichever node. So I'll pass another parameter, which is n. Now I'll do the same thing. I will store a prev node, as I said, which is equal to head. And then I'll store a to delete node, which is equal to head dot next. Now what if the value of n is 1? So let us say if n is equal to 1, let us say if I want to delete the first node, then I can simply call this function, right? Delete from the beginning. So let us simply return this one, delete from the beginning, because I've already written a function for this. So if the value of n is 1, then I'm simply calling this function. Let us say if I want to delete the first node, so I'll simply call this function, delete from the beginning. Else, if I want to delete the second node or the third, okay. So as I was saying, if the value of n is 1, then I simply call this function, delete from the beginning, because I have already written a function to delete the node from the beginning. Okay. Otherwise, what I do is I store the previous node, okay, prev node as head, and then the to delete node as head dot next. And then what I do is is it necessary to return head? Yeah, it is. It is necessary to return the head node, because as you can see in this delete from beginning, I am updating, like my head node is basically getting changed. So the reference of so if I don't update my head node, I won't be able to access the elements of my linked list, because let us say if I'm deleting the first node, then in my new linked list, the first node has no significance. My new linked list actually now starts from the second node. So that's why I have to update the head pointer. Though it is not required if you are deleting from the end, or if you are deleting any node which is present in the middle of the linked list. But if you are deleting a node which is at the beginning, then you have to actually change the value of this head pointer, because now the head pointer is pointing to some different node. So so it's clear. So now what I want to do is I want to reach till the nth node. So how to reach to the nth node? I'll simply take a for loop, right? I'll simply take a for loop. And in this for loop, I'll update my previous node, as well as I'll update my to delete node. So what I'm doing is I'm updating my previous node as previous node arrow next, and then to delete arrow next. So now after this loop finishes working, my to delete node will be pointing to the nth node, and the previous node will be pointing to the node just before the node which I want to delete. So what I've already said is what I'll do is I will first set the next pointer of previous node to this, and then I'll simply free to delete from the memory. And then what I will do is I will simply return the head node. Okay. So let's not call these two functions. Let us call this function. Let us say delete, delete nth node from the beginning, and I pass the head. And let us say if I want to delete the third node, for example. And then I print my list, and then I count the number of elements in my list. So let us check if this works or not. I want to delete the third node from the beginning. Yeah, so as you can see, 3 is deleted, but actually 3 is not the third node, it is the fourth node. So what we can do is we can, rather than taking this loop to n minus 1, we can take it up to n minus, rather than taking this loop till n, we can take it till n minus 1. I think this should work. Because of the zero based indexing, maybe it is creating some issue. Yeah, so now I can see in my original linked list, my first node had a value 0, second node had a value 1, third node had a value 2. So third node had a value 2. So now after deleting the third node, the value 2 is no more in the linked list. So you can see there is 0, there is 1, there is 3, there is 4 till 9, but there is no 2 since I deleted the third node. So yeah, so what I did is I simply initialized previous node to head, and then to delete node to head dot next. And then I took this loop, okay? And after this loop completes, my to delete node will be pointing to the node which I want to delete. So to delete node will be pointing to the nth node, okay? After this loop evaluates, I mean, after this loop completes, you can say, to delete node will be pointing to the nth node. So I free, before freeing the nth node, I update the next pointer of the previous node to the node which is just ahead of the to delete node, and then I simply free the to delete node. So I hope these three things are clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we will move ahead. Boost. Okay, so that is my personal boost is my personal like fast scene see out like function. Like you can see it here. Like it is used to take uh, fast input out. Like it is used for taking input output like in a more efficient manner. So I've defined a function for that. These are just my templates. I mean, I use it for like uh, like coding a bit faster, like because during contests, so that I don't have to look for all these things. That's why. Okay, so let us move ahead then. We will. Okay, so now we'll learn how to. Yeah, probably I'll tell about the template some other time, or probably I'll share the template. So let us see how to reverse a linked list. So as you can see pictorially, like it is very clear what it means to reverse a linked list. So reversing a linked list is, in simple terms, means reversing the next pointer arrows so that they point to the elements behind them and not ahead of them. And then we move the head pointer to the end. So initially the head pointer was pointing to the node which is value 10, and then all the arrows were in a forward fashion. But now after reversing the linked list, the head pointer is pointing to the node which is having value 40, and then all the nodes are pointing to the nodes. I mean, you can see all the arrows got reversed, right? So earlier 10.20, the to 20 dot next was pointing to 30, but now you can see 20 dot next is pointing to 10. And similarly, 30 dot next is pointing to 20 and 40 dot next is pointing to 30. So let us see how to carry out this operation. So there are a few steps. So first what we do is we initialize 3 pointers, okay? We initialize the previous pointer pointing to null. And this is my linked list, okay? 1, 2, 3, and then null is my linked list. And then current and next pointers pointing to head. So these are the 3 pointers that I initialize. Like don't confuse this next with the next, like the next keyword. This is just the variable name next, okay? So we initialize 3 pointers named previous pointing to null, and then current and next pointing to head. Now what I check is I check if current is not equal to null, then I update next to cur.next, okay? So if my current pointer is not null, then I simply update my next pointer. I say next is equal to cur.next. So I hope up to this things are clear. Like I simply initialize 3 pointers. I marked previous to null, and then current and next are pointing to head. And then if my current is not equal to null, then I simply update my next pointer as current arrow next. Then what I do is I make current next point to the previous pointer. Okay. So you can say current dot next was earlier pointing to the node which was having value 2, but now I update current dot next point to the previous pointer. After doing that, what I do is I move the previous pointer one step ahead. That is, I make previous pointer equal to cur. And then I move the current pointer one step ahead and make it point to next. That is, cur is equal to next. So now you can see this step 5. Step 5 is very similar to that of the first step. You can see previous is pointing to null, and cur and next are both pointing to the value 1. So you can see step 5 is almost very similar to that. So after that, what we do is we again check if current is not equal to null, then we make the next point to the cur dot next. That is, we update the next pointer, and then we set the next pointer of current to point to the previous node. Like you can see how the arrows are getting changed. Like earlier 2 was pointing to 3, but now I changed it. Now I made 2 point to 1. And then what I do is I simply move the previous pointer one step ahead. That is, I make previous pointer equal to cur, and then I move the current pointer one step ahead and make it equal to next. So now you can see that my first 2 nodes are reversed. Now again the same thing. I check if current is not equal, if the cur node is not equal to null, then I make the next point to cur next. So I move the next pointer. Then I make cur next point to the previous pointer, the pref pointer, and then I move the pref pointer one step ahead to make it point to cur. That is, I make prev equals to cur, and then I simply move the cur pointer one step ahead and make it point to next. So now, now you can see if cur is not equal to null, then I make the next point to cur dot next. But since cur has already reached the null node, so we break the loop and return the previous node. because as you can see, previous node is now the new head of our reverse linked list. Using the previous node, I can simply traverse my whole linked list, which is reversed. So let us see the process again. So what I do is I initialize 3 pointers, previous, which is pointing to null, and then cur and next are pointing to head. So if my cur is not equal to null, then I update my next pointer. I move the next pointer one step ahead. Okay. Then what I do is I change the cur next pointer to point to the previous node. So now, so like earlier, cur next was pointing to, like earlier one was pointing to 2, but now one is pointing to its previous node, that is null. And then after doing this, I move the pref pointer one step ahead. That is, I make prev equal to cur, and then I move the cur pointer one step ahead. That is, I make cur equals null. And then again, I check the same thing. I check if cur is not equal to null, then I move the next pointer one step ahead. Okay. And then I make cur dot next point to its previous node. And then I move the prev pointer one step ahead. That is, I make prev equals to cur. And then similarly, I move the cur pointer one step ahead and make it equal to next. And then again, I check the same thing. If cur is not equal to null, then I move the next pointer one step ahead and then make the cur point to its previous node and then move the previous node to point to cur. And then again, I update my cur pointer to point to next. That is, I update cur as next. Now, since cur is equal to null, so I simply break the loop. I break out of the loop and then I simply return the node previous, because the node previous is actually my new head, because that is storing the information of my new linked list. Using the previous node, I can simply traverse my whole linked list. So uh, if you just try to do it manually in pen and paper, it will be more, it will be better for you. You'll be able to understand it in a better way. But the process is simple. Like every time you just check whether cur is equal to null or not. If it is not equal to null, then you simply move the next pointer one step ahead, and then set the next pointer of cur to point to its previous node, and then simply move the previous node one step ahead, and then the cur node one step ahead. So let us try to write a function for it. So as I said, I'll declare 3 variables. Prev would be initially pointing to null. Then there will be a cur, which will be pointing to head. And then there will be a next. Okay, so like just to avoid confusion with this next keyword, let us say I am using, okay, sir. So let us use ahead. Okay. So ahead will be fine, because I'm already using this next keyword, as you can see here. So let's not use next. Let us use ahead. So now what I said is I'll check if current is not equals to null. So if current is not equal to null, I'll move my ahead pointer. And then I'll set the next pointer of current to point to previous. And then I'll update the previous pointer as cur, and then update the cur pointer as ahead. So this is exactly what I wrote in the PPT, these 4 lines. these are the things that I was checking. I was checking if current is not equal to null, then I was moving the ahead pointer. So I moved the ahead pointer one step ahead. Then I was updating the next pointer of the current node to point it to the previous node. And then I was updating the previous pointer and the current pointer. So these two are the, you can say these two are the update statements. These two are the update statements. And then I should print that reverse linked list. And let us call this function. So let us comment this out. And let us update my head pointer. Okay, so I should return the previous node. Sorry, I should return the previous node because that will be my new head. So now I update my head. I say reverse linked list by passing the head pointer, and then I simply print, and then I count. Yeah, so as you can see, initially there were 10 nodes, and they were like 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. And then in the reverse linked list, you can see they are in this order. First 9 is appearing, and then 8, and then 7, and then so until 1. And the number of nodes remain the same. They are 10. So as you can see, the function is not that the function isn't that big. You can see there are hardly 3 to 4 lines of code, but the main part was, like how we manipulate things in a linked list by using different pointers. So we used a previous pointer, we used a current pointer, and we used a ahead pointer to like manipulate the arrows of a linked list. So this part is important. It is exactly the same which I mentioned in the PPT. Like the steps are all the same. First, I'm checking if whether current is equal to null or not, and if not, then I carry out these steps, and then I simply return the previous pointer. So if you have any doubts, you can ask related to this code because it is exactly the same, like whatever was there in the PPT. It's just the code version of it. Okay, that's great. So now we'll learn about, so now this is a small assignment for you. You can try this out. So there are two questions. The first question goes like this. It says you're given two linked lists, L1 and L2, having head 1 and head 2 as the head pointers. So basically you have to concatenate the two linked lists and return the head pointer of the concatenated list. So let us say if L1 is something like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and L2 is something like this, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So finally you should return one head pointer, which should have this linked list, like the concatenated linked list. So L1 concatenated with L2. So this you can try. And then the second question is a bit tricky. It says you are given a linked list L1 sorted in increasing order, okay? And you are given a value that you don't want in your list, okay? So what you do is you remove that value from the list, and return the head of the list sorted in decreasing order. So say if my linked list one is something like this, the first node is one, then there is one, then two, and then three, 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 and then four and five. So I can see it is sorted in increasing order or non-decreasing order. You can say not exactly increasing. It is non-decreasing order because elements can be same. Elements can repeat also, but it will be non-decreasing. And the value which I don't want is 3. So what I should finally return is I should first remove all the values 3 from the linked list and then return the reverse form of the linked list. So as you can see, I'm returning 55211, which is in decreasing order, and there is no node which is having value 3. So it uses the concept of deletion. Okay, you can you have to first delete a particular node, and then after deleting all the nodes, you have to reverse it. So you can try this out. So now let us learn about a nice trick, you can say, which is used to solve uh, a few popular problems. Otherwise, you like, you know, in you can say lesser memory, and so basically you can solve some complex problems using the idea of fast and slow pointer. So let us see the motivation. So we are basically given a linked list and we are asked to return its middle element. So now if the length is even, then you can return either of the two middle elements. So let us say if there are 6 elements, then you can either return the third element or the fourth element. But if there are, let us say 7 elements, then you should return the fourth element. Now there's some additional okay, so now let us see how we can do this. So since we don't know the length of the linked list, okay, so first what we do is we traverse the whole linked list and find out how many elements are there in the linked list. Now in the very beginning of the session, I taught you like how to count the number of elements in the linked list. So we simply implement that function and count how many elements are there in my linked list. Now what will be my middle element? It will say if there are n elements in my linked list, then the middle element will be simply the n by 2th element of the linked list, right? So what I do is, since I'm not aware of the number of elements that are present in my linked list, so I first count the number of elements that are in my linked list. And then after counting the number of elements in my linked list, I again traverse my linked list uh, till the value n by 2, like if n is the length of the linked list, and simply print the n by 2th node. But there is some additional constraints, like it is saying you can only traverse the linked list once and you can't use extra memory. So it is saying your code should run in O of length of the linked list and O1 memory. So basically you cannot traverse the linked list twice. You have to answer me the middle element by traversing the linked list only once. So how to do this? Like the method that I mentioned was using the technique in which I was traversing the linked list twice. Like first I traversed the linked list to find out how many elements are there in my linked list. And then I traversed till the middlemost element. Like first I calculated what is the value of n, which is the length of my linked list. And then I took a for loop from 0 to n by 2 and then printed the n by 2th element or the middlemost element of the linked list. But it is saying I have to only traverse my linked list once. So to do this, what I do is I define two pointers, okay? One is a slow pointer, another one is a fast pointer. So initially, both are pointing to the head node. Initially, slow pointer is also pointing to the head node and fast pointer is also pointing to the head node. Now, what does fast mean? So fast pointer is actually moving with a speed double to that of slow pointer. I mean, we are moving. So basically, you can see we are updating slow to slow dot next and fast to fast dot next dot next. So we're moving fast pointer with double the speed than that of the slow pointer. Okay. Now what we do is we stop when the fast pointer reaches the end of the linked list. And since the speed of the slow pointer was half of the speed of the fast pointer, so it must be pointing to the middle node. So I hope the idea is clear. Like we are taking 2 pointers, we're moving one pointer with, let us say, speed 1, and slow pointer with speed 1, and fast pointer with speed 2. So the moment when fast pointer reaches the null node, so the fast pointer has traversed the whole linked list. But since slow pointer had a speed half of the speed of the fast pointer, so it must be pointing to the middlemost node. So let us see the applications. So it is used to determine the middle element of a linked list. It is also used to detect if there exists a cycle in a linked list. And it can be also used to find the kth element from the end in a linked list. So these are the few applications that use the idea of slow and fast pointer. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll solve a problem from LeetCode. I think that will make things more clear. Okay, so let us solve a problem then. Yeah. So this is the problem. It is saying given a non-empty singly linked list with head node as head, we have to return a middle. We have to return the middle node of a linked list, and it is saying if there are two middle nodes, then we should return the second middle node. So like you can see, if the linked list is something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I should return 3 because 3 is the middlemost node. But if the linked list is like this, it is having even number of elements, then I should return 4. So since the list has two middle nodes with values 3 and 4, we return the second one. So we'll do the same thing. We'll initialize 2 pointers, slow and fast. Both are initially pointing to the head node. And as long as fast is not equal to null, and fast dot next is not equals to null, I just keep on moving the slow and fast pointers. So fast will move with a speed double compared to that of slow. And then after this loop gets executed, the fast pointer should be pointing to the null node, and the slow pointer should be pointing to the middlemost node. So I should simply return the slow pointer because that should be pointing to the middle node. Yeah, so as you can see, it is returning, it is passing the sample test cases. Let us submit it. Yeah, so it got accepted. So there are a lot of other problems which you can find in LeetCode on the topic linked list. You can try to solve them on your own. And so yeah, that's pretty much about today's session. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Actually, I have not doubt about this session, but I have something in my mind that is quite confusing to me.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
go
sir,
ahead.
I had a lot of dynamic programming a lot in those interview questions and in the you can those online platform for test coding. So, what
Okay.
is that, sir?
Okay, so you are asking what is dynamic programming?
Yes, yes, sir, that's what I am asking.
Okay, so dynamic programming is basically a programming paradigm or a programming style, which you can say, in which, let us say there is a problem in which there are some which, let us say there is a big problem. Okay, let us say I define a problem as a whole, as a very big problem, and it can be broken down to smaller sub problems. Okay, so if in those smaller subproblems, if there are some states which I'm calculating again and again, let us say if I want to calculate the value of Fibonacci of 5. Okay, so to calculate Fibonacci of 5, what I do is I calculate the value of Fibonacci of 4 and then calculate the value of Fibonacci of 3. And then to calculate the value of Fibonacci of 4, I have to calculate the value of Fibonacci of 3 and then Fibonacci of 2. But as you can see, initially I already calculated the value of Fibonacci of 3, but I have to again like calculate it again to determine the value of Fibonacci of 4. So instead of calculating the values again and again, okay, like if there are some repeated subproblems, then you store those values in an array or a vector or a map, so that you can use those value later in time, rather than computing those values again. So that idea is known as dynamic programming. I mean, if let us say while solving a problem, you face this situation in which there are certain values which are getting computed repeatedly. Okay, like let us say you have defined a function which is computing the values repeatedly. So rather than computing those values repeatedly, you can store those values and use them when required. So that idea is known as dynamic programming. So basically, there are two ways in which you can implement dynamic programming. You can either do it in a bottom-up fashion or a top-down fashion. Uh, yeah, so top-down is basically done in a recursive way, and bottom-up is done by taking loops. So yeah, so though it's very difficult to define what is dynamic programming, but more or less the idea is, like if there are states which are getting calculated again and again, so rather than calculating those states, we simply store the values of those states in an array or a vector so that you can use them again.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's end this session then. If you have any doubts, you can ask. In every coming class, please do have one problem like this. It's a request from any website. Okay, yeah, so you can actually tell this to other trainers also during the class, or probably I'll tell them if it's possible for them to at least solve one problem like this. I'll try to tell them. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so like apart from this, you can like if you haven't yet started solving problems, like there's a mashup contest going on in Codeforces. Uh, it will be on till Saturday, I guess, Saturday or Sunday. You can try the problems if you haven't, and if you have any issue, you can also ask. Like I saw, like I was going through the rank list and I saw there were 2 or 3 people who solved all the problems. So that's actually good. But yeah, like if you are having any trouble, or if you aren't able to submit, then you can ask. Like it's very difficult to answer language specific doubts, but you can, like if you have any doubt in Java, it would be better if you ask this to your Java trainer, or maybe you can ask C++ doubts to me if you have any language specific doubt. Okay, so let's end this meeting then. See you in next week, or probably in this week Saturday, if we try to have a doubt clearing session.